Okay, and just a couple of quick questions on the other topic that you like. A quick readout from the president's lunch with Vice President Biden.
When I walked out, it was still ongoing.
Still ongoing?
Yeah. So I've not gotten an early readout of their lunch.
So we had the development over the weekend that the Vice President came back and met with Elizabeth Warren. How would the President deal with this if Biden actually decides to run? Here you have his current Vice President against his former Secretary of State.
Yeah. Well, there's not an insignificant if in that question. And I think that's what everybody is pretty interested to find out, is what decision the Vice President is going to make. The President has indicated his view that the decision that he made, I guess 7 years ago now, to add Joe Biden to the ticket as his running mate was the smartest decision that he had ever made in politics. And I think that should give you some sense of the President's view of Vice President Biden's aptitude for the top job.
So I assume that means the President would support Vice President Biden if he were to run. I mean, this is obviously a better decision than the Secretary of State he chose. So,
well,
are you suggesting? You said it was the best decision he'd made. So.
Yeah, it was, and I think what the President has spoke at quite some length about the appreciation, respect, and admiration he has for the service of Secretary Clinton, particularly in her 4 years as Secretary of State.
Just not his best decision.
Well, again, I think all of you and your coverage of some of the President's comments about Secretary Clinton have noted how warm those were. I'll just say that the Vice President is somebody who has already run for President twice. He's been on a national ticket through 2 election cycles now, both in 2008 and in the re-election of 2012. And so I think you could make the case that there is probably no one in American politics today who has a better understanding of exactly what is required to mount a successful national presidential campaign. And that means that he's going to collect all the information that he needs to make a decision. He's indicated that he would make a decision and announce a decision before the end of the summer. So those of us who enjoy the summertime, I think, would assume that means he's got another month or so here to think about this and announce a decision.
But the last thing, will the President remain neutral? Or I mean, we used to say right now that the President will or will not endorse somebody before the primary is over.
Well, I've been asked this once before, and I have indicated that the President does plan to vote in the Illinois primary, and that ultimately it will be Democratic voters who are responsible for choosing the Democratic nominee. But I wouldn't speculate at this point about whether or not the President would offer an endorsement.
So you don't rule out the possibility he could say endorse Joe Biden or endorse Hillary Clinton?
I wouldn't rule out. I wouldn't rule out an endorsement or Bernie Sanders. I wouldn't rule out the possibility of an endorsement in the Democratic primary. I am confident the President will support the Democratic nominee in the general election.